Hey, Community Bible. On Monday, the governor gave his guidelines and recommendations regarding churches returning to in-person worship. And so I wanted to update you on where we are and what we're looking forward to. But before I do, I want to make two specific comments. One, I want to thank you for your faithfulness. The world got turned upside down in the middle of March, and none of us really knew how to approach this. And yet you were faithful in attending online and loving your neighbors and giving sacrificially to the church. While it was rocky for the first couple of weeks financially, everything has returned and the church is in a very solid footing. And so thank you for your patience and thank you for your faithfulness. Secondly, I want to brag on my coworkers. Like everybody else, they didn't know how to do their job without meeting in person, and yet just literally overnight, they figured out not only how to do their job, but at the same time taking care of their families and doing it from a distance kind of perspective. They have been working diligently over these past few weeks, and I want to thank them, and what an honor it is to serve alongside of them. So let's talk about what comes next. Our staff, led by Executive Pastor Richie Fisher, has been working with a team of healthcare professionals to figure out a phased approach by which we can safely return to corporate worship here on a Sunday morning. They have come up with a four-phased approach. But before we get in the phases, please know this. You're ultimately in charge of the decisions that you make, and we want you to make the wisest choices possible for your family and for those who are around you. We never want you to feel any pressure or a spiritual guilt to somehow feel like you have to be here the moment we begin to open the doors. Choose wisely in what you're going to do. The first phase we entered into on Monday when the governor lifted the lid on what churches can do. And in phase one, the staff will begin to return to work. Our small groups will begin to meet in ways that are appropriate for them, and all of our services will remain online. We will do that primarily through the month of May. If everything stays as it is, then near the end of the month of May, beginning of June, we will enter into phase two. And so on May 31st, that will be our first Sunday back here at every location for corporate worship. Now, it's going to look radically different than what we're used to. There's going to be restrictions. You're probably going to have to reserve your seat on information that will come later on that. You might have to wear a mask depending on what the governor asks us to do at that time. It will be a limited number. And so because of that, we're going to start with two services, but if demand requires more, we'll move to three or more. But at 9 o'clock and 10:30, notice those times, at 9 o'clock and 10:30 on May 31st, we expect to be back here on location in Fort Smith, North Fort Smith, Greenwood, and Van Buren. That phase will last 2 to 4 weeks depending on how the cases are going, not only in our community, but also around the state. If things continue to progress, as we hope that they will, then phase three will then see a return of different groups to on-campus kind of study. Celebrate Recovery is a good example of this. The men's Bible study lunch that Ed has, our large women's Bible study that meets on the Fort Smith campus. The larger groups in phase three will begin to meet. And then if things continue to progress, ultimately we will reach phase four, in which our children's ministry can return, student ministry can return as well. Now, obviously, the big question that everybody has on this issue is, what does the timetable look like? And the truth is, we can't fully know. We have some guesses. We think that these phases will last over the summer. But we don't know for sure because we're not fully in control of those things. And if we need to pull back, we will. And if we need to speed ahead, we can do that as well. But there are a few things that you can do between now and then. One of the large needs that we're going to have for May 31st is a large number of volunteers. It's going to take a great deal of work to make sure that people are safe, that they're welcomed, that it's a meaningful experience for them. And so this is a wonderful opportunity for you to volunteer. You think about it. There are some who are in the vulnerable population who will not be able to be here whenever we first begin to meet. Others might have little kids, and it's going to be a struggle for them. They might continue to worship at home for a while, or they might test the waters, but they're not going to be able to give up their time to volunteer. And so if you have the opportunity, we're going to send out some information, and you can email us to sign up to be part of our host team for that service on May 31st, and then what comes in the weeks that are ahead. But between now and then, we would just ask that you would continue to love your neighbors, to find the needs that are present around you, to meet those needs, and if you need assistance or help, to let us know. And we will do everything in our power to assist you. I know that these are interesting times, but they're also exciting times. These are times where in faith, we can say, okay, God, we don't necessarily know what lies ahead. We know what we're used to in the past. We know that things are going to be different now, but our mission has not changed. That we seek to find life in Jesus, to love our neighbors, and to help others do the same. We're going to keep on doing that. No matter how we have to go about doing that, we're going to keep on doing exactly that. Look for more information in the days to come about what it's going to look like for May 31st. We are going to have a volunteer training on Sunday, May 17th. And so if you're interested in volunteering, make sure you sign up. And don't forget, if you ever need any help or any assistance, we would love to do so and to help you in every way that we can. Please reach out and contact us. It is an honor to be one of your pastors. I love you. I can't wait to see you in person again. And don't forget, life is better in community.